Hey everyone, this is Ryder from Skip, and it's Tuesday, May 19th. I want to do a quick, important video on stimulus updates for the next stimulus checks, where that's at after the HEROES Act was passed in the House of Representatives last week, and updates on just the disbursements of the first funds in general, and which is important because that'll set the tone for what gets approved next. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that first. What Congress is talking right now as we speak with Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell, right now about how all of these trillions of dollars are being dispersed. And a lot of what comes out of that will impact how small and large businesses get funds distributed, and if and when there'll be another stimulus check for us as individuals. Okay, so I'm going to get into that. Thanks so much for your support and subscribing. Going to be doing these videos all week as things progress, especially with the new stimulus. So, but first, I'm going to show you this this summary here of some of the stimulus proposals. Okay, Mark Cuban was tweeting yesterday about his proposal of everyone getting $1,000 every 2 weeks for a couple months, right? So, getting several $1,000s. And his take was that it's important for people to be spending, right? The demand isn't there. How do we get consumer confidence back? We need to inject cash towards individuals so they can go out and spend when it's safe, right? And there's all of the states and cities have various phased approaches to reopening in a safe way. But just to summary here, the CARES Act, of course, as most of you know, many of you have received payments. You're reporting that on our tracker at helloskip.com. $1,200 for individuals, $2,400 for married couples. Andrew Yang thinks we should go to basic income, $1,000 a month forever, and similar. That's what's happening in Canada right now. By the way, Canada is providing its citizens with a stipend. Keeps it simple in some sense, rather than having lots of difficult programs. So there's a case for that. The $2,000 a month stimulus check that was talked about back in April. And then the HEROES Act came up a couple weeks ago and was passed in the House of Representatives last week, but to do another round of stimulus checks, but it faces major obstacles both from the president and the Republican-controlled Senate. So most people are skeptical that this will pass in its current form. There's probably going to be a lot of negotiations here for this guy. But this is what has the most traction right now. But so again, it's still being debated. But what's happening today in Congress is Secretary of Treasury, and this is a live feed of the Senate hearing today, that the Fed chair and the Treasury Secretary are testifying today over how they're handling the distribution. And this is, as you can imagine, there's going to be criticism no matter how you slice it. They're being too conservative. They're not being conservative enough. They're not lending fast enough. So it comes down to the framework a lot of senators have is, in times like this, we should default to getting the money out quickly, right? But then, of course, there'll be mistakes that are made along the way, and then they'll be grilled because millions of taxpayer dollars are potentially wasted. So this is the tricky part that is happening now in this hearing. So here's one of the headlines that this is kind of the conservative approach that they have, which makes sense. We're talking about trillions of dollars. That these are the largest relief packages in the history of the U.S. And the Treasury, of course, it's their job to be stewards of the money and not just spend it unwisely. But the downside of that is the people who are vulnerable, or businesses that are vulnerable, aren't getting the money. We've talked with thousands of people who aren't being approved because of low credits for the EIDL and PPP, particularly because of low credits, because of other issues. And this points to the fact that at the end of the day, a lot of the thinking, by this man is how are they going to get the money back? These are loans, so they still need to get the money back somehow. So whatever comes out of the Senate hearing today will probably set the tone. And my hunch is that it might be like, you need to do more faster, and then there'll be pressure to distribute funding quicker. Okay, so that's the good news that I want to just hit on here. That coming out of today, that it might be like, we need to get out more Main Street lending, more PPP. We need to pass the new stimulus so we can reload the SBA EIDL fund. Okay. I'm going to show you quickly here how this relates to unemployment. This is directly related to the stimulus. So we publish data on the helloskip.com/blog of unemployment applications over the last 8 weeks in the top 20 states right now. So you can take a look. But the main point is that there's still been 36 million unemployment applications in the last few weeks. And the only way these people will get back to work is if consumer spending picks up, right? That's the reason why this number is so high. You shut down the economy, consumers stop spending, businesses close or pause. So, yeah, this is, we've been tracking these. A lot of people have been self-reporting their unemployment on helloskip.com as well. And I predict that this week, Thursday, when we see the new numbers, this will be close to 40 million. There's no doubt in my mind that this will be close to 40 million this week. And it really points to that people should be getting more stimulus money so that they can start spending, so businesses can start, the economy can start churning again. I'm not an economist, but the main goal is for this 20% of the country that is unemployed right now, and for the businesses that are struggling, what can we do to reverse the trend, okay? And while, if you look at these charts, a lot of them are going down from their peaks in late March, early April, they're still quite high. So we're still talking about, magnitudes higher than unemployment applications in weeks prior, years, forever. So last thing I want to show you here is, this is related to the distribution of the funding that the Senate published yesterday. Okay, I'm going to point out a couple things here. This is the first report of the commission. This is the oversight of all the trillions of dollars that are being distributed. They found a couple things that are important to note, which gets into what I'm saying about there may be faster distribution across the board. Okay, the Treasury has not dispersed any of the $46 billion towards airlines. Now, you may not care about that as much because you're not flying now, and we're less sympathetic towards the airlines, perhaps. But it just shows you that money hasn't. This is a few weeks ago where this deal was made. None of that money's been distributed, and there, for the several facilities that the Treasury said they were going to invest in, there was a whole bunch of money for that. None of that has been dispersed, or very little, I should say. Very little of that has been dispersed. And the Main Street lending program. Okay, this is the main criticism, that there's a big pool of money for this. Most of it hasn't been distributed because there is a higher bar to distributing this money, because they do want to get this money back. So the bottom line is that these guys, Mnuchin and Powell, are being grilled today as we speak. I'm hopeful that this will create some more incentive for faster distribution, and that will be distributed to the SBA. Maybe that will be distributed to Republican lawmakers in the Senate who realize, hey, we need to get on this next stimulus because even though we're moving quick, we're not moving quick enough. All right. I hope this is helpful. Again, we're publishing these every day, and check out the helloskip.com/blog because we're doing a couple pieces. We even did a piece yesterday on some more stimulus information, and we're going to do a piece today on taxes. Which of this money is the stimulus taxed? Is the unemployment taxed? And some details within those questions. All right, thanks again. Stay safe, stay healthy, and if you can, stay home.